Okay, so today I thought I would read a full chapter of the Barracrest Academy story number 1. Hopefully one day I write another part to the story. Once I get this first story edited and out there. But I wanted to read a full chapter just to keep people interested. And if you saw my reel, then you know I had some teen girl pampering today. So, in quotations. So I wanted to put this whole chapter out there in honor of that. So let's just start. This is in the middle of the book. So maybe you're following along, maybe you're not, but I'm not going to read the book to you, all of the book to you, just a chapter. So I woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of Ariel moving around in the kitchen. For a few seconds, I didn't know where I was. My back ached from the hardwood floor, and the sleeping bag beside me was empty. Morning light spilled through the bedroom doorway, illuminating the half-open suitcases and piles of clothing. Then I remembered. Ariel was beneath me, Lauren's face behind my closed eyes, and my body going still. I sat up and rubbed both hands over my face. I found Ariel sitting cross-legged on the floor beside the coffee maker. We didn't have a table or chairs, but she somehow created breakfast out of what remained in the grocery bags. 2 cups of coffee, bruised bananas, and granola bars arranged on a paper plate. "Look," she said, "our first breakfast at our new home." Home. She smiled as though nothing had happened. I lowered myself onto the floor across from her and reached for the coffee. "You're up early." "I figured you'd want time before your meeting." She had remembered. Of course she had. Hatch had arranged for me to meet with the Dean of Academics at 9. She was supposed to review my courses, gradebook procedures, syllabi, and whatever else Barracrest required from a teacher arriving later than everyone else. Ariel peeled open a granola bar and broke it in half. "How did you sleep?" "Fine." It came out sharper than I intended. She glanced down at the wrapper. My hip is a little angry about the floor, but otherwise. I said I slept fine." "I heard you." The silence that followed was brief, but not brief enough. I drank my coffee. It was too weak. Ariel always made it too weak. Stretching 4 cups of water through enough grounds for 2, and then drowning her own cup in cream. I had explained the correct ratio before, more than once. She took a bite of banana and looked toward the windows. "Prescott Hall is pretty amazing in the morning." I followed her gaze. From the apartment, we could see the upper floors rising above the trees. "Are you nervous?" she asked. "No." "Not even a little?" "Why would I be?" "I don't know. New school, new people, first impressions." "It's a meeting, Ariel. I've been teaching for years." "I know that." She gave me another careful smile. It was the same expression she had worn the night before when she told me it wasn't a big deal. I wondered whether she planned to pretend forever. "You don't have to do that," I said. "Do what?" "Act like everything is perfect." Her smile disappeared. "I'm not. You've been performing since I walked into the room. I made coffee. You are being overly cheerful." She stared at me for a moment. "I thought you might already feel uncomfortable. I didn't want to make it worse." There it was. Pity. "I don't feel uncomfortable." "Okay." "And nothing happened last night." "I know." "Then stop looking at me like something did." Ariel set what remained of her banana on the paper plate. "I'm not looking at you any particular way, David." She stood and carried her cup to the sink. Her shoulders had tightened, but she kept her back to me, denying me the argument she knew I was prepared to have. I looked down at the granola bar she had divided between us. She had given me the larger half, and for some reason that irritated me most of all. "I'm going to shower," I said. Ariel nodded without turning around. "Your blue shirt is hanging on the bathroom door." I left her in the kitchen, stepped over the open suitcases on my way down the hall. The blue shirt hung exactly where she said it would, pressed and ready for my first official day at Barracrest. The Dean of Academics met me in my office at 9 exactly. She was an older woman, short and round, with a gray pixie cut and glasses that hung from a brightly colored cord around her neck. She introduced herself as Dr. Margaret Bell and took the chair across from my desk, immediately began pulling folders from an overstuffed canvas bag. There was no small talk. She didn't ask me about California or the drive. She didn't ask me how Ariel and I were settling in or what had brought me to Barracrest so late in the summer. She seemed relieved that I had arrived and was apparently capable of breathing without assistance. I liked that. I liked her for that. Then she started explaining things. For the next 2 hours, Dr. Bell walked me through every detail of my position as though I'd never stepped inside a school before. This was how I entered grades. This was when progress reports were due. This was how often parents expected updates. This was the procedure for requesting books, reserving rooms, reporting absences, documenting extra help, referring a student to academic support. She showed me where to find the faculty handbook online, then opened the handbook and showed me where to find everything she had just explained. You'll be teaching English 1 and English 3, she said, sliding 2 thick course binders across the desk. The previous teacher left thorough materials. Given the timing of your arrival, I recommend following the existing curriculum for at least the first semester. Recommend. We generally expect English 1 students to complete 4 major analytical essays, 1 research assignment, and a minimum of 6 core texts, she continued. English 3 has similar writing requirements, but the focus is American literature. You'll find the approved reading list in each binder. I'm familiar with curriculum planning, I said. I'm sure you are. She said it pleasantly without pausing. The books my students would be forced to read had already been ordered and charged to their accounts. Copies were stacked in neat cardboard boxes along the back wall of my office. Apparently, Barracrest families received a bill for books before their children ever opened them. Dr. Bell opened my school-issued math book and signed me into the grading system. She showed me how to create an assignment, enter a score, publish it for students and parents to see. I'd managed online grade books before, several of them. None had required a guided tour. And this tab allows you to leave a narrative comment, she said. Families appreciate the detail. I know how to write a comment. She looked at me over the top of her glasses. I assumed an English teacher would. For the first time that morning, I couldn't tell whether she was joking. Dr. Bell returned her attention to the screen and continued. By the time she reached the attendance procedures, I had stopped pretending to take notes. Still, she was efficient. She didn't wander into stories about former teachers or attempt to learn anything personal about me. She had a vacant position, a schedule full of students, and less than a week before classes began. I was not a mystery she wanted to solve. I was a solution to a problem. Shortly after 11, she returned the computer to me and began repacking her bag. You should have access to everything you need, she said. Email me if you discover that you don't. I will. She paused at the door. The curriculum materials are there to help you get started, David. You're welcome to make the courses your own once you understand our students and our expectations. As though Barracrest students were some rare species that required careful observation before approaching. Then she left. For the first time, the office was completely mine. I opened the English 3 binder and looked over the reading list. The Scarlet Letter, The Great Gatsby, Of Mice and Men, The Crucible, the safest American literature money could buy. Outside my window, a cluster of patio furniture had been arranged on the lawn. Several adults sat around it, laughing over coffee as though faculty orientation were some kind of reunion. They looked comfortable with one another, already connected by shared stories, private jokes, and years of knowing exactly where they belonged. I noticed her immediately. Her hair was a rich chocolate brown, falling past her shoulders in loose waves. She had the kind of smile that transformed her entire face. Warm, effortless, impossible not to watch. There was nothing carefully constructed about her beauty. It seemed to radiate from her naturally, drawing the attention to everyone around her. Even in the middle of the group, she was the person they all seemed to turn toward. And now, so was I. Okay, thanks for listening. That's one chapter in the book. I hope you follow along and keep up on Barracrest Academy. All right, bye.